All right, strap yourselves in because today we are going deep into Dick Francis territory with Hot Money.
Ooh, hot money.
Yeah,
Good one.
it's one of those books that just grabs you and doesn't let go.
Absolutely.
Family secrets, money troubles, and of course, a murder.
Maybe even two.
Maybe even two.
Yeah.
So think you can crack the case before our main man Ian does? Let's find out.
You know what I find so captivating about Hot Money? It's how Francis uses the protagonist, Ian's perspective, to create this intricate family puzzle.
Yeah.
Every bit of information he uncovers is like lifting a corner of a tapestry,
Ooh, I like that.
revealing just a little bit more of the complex design underneath?
Oh, it's all about the slow burn. And we get to meet Ian, a former steeplechase jockey.
How cool is that?
Right. Talk about an interesting background.
Yeah.
He gets pulled back into his family's drama after a call from his wealthy father, Malcolm.
Yeah.
And this isn't just a casual, hey, let's catch up kind of call.
No, not at all. There's this underlying tension from the get-go.
Yeah.
A sense of unease that just hangs over all their interactions.
Not Lily.
And, Malcolm's recent marriage to Moira, a woman that Ian, very much opposed, has created this chasm between them.
Oh, absolutely. Remember that explosive argument they had?
Right.
It even got physical.
Yeah. Francis isn't just setting up some family drama. He's carefully laying the groundwork for the violence to come.
Well, hold on tight, because here comes a twist that throws everything into question. Moira turns up dead.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like a suicide. But something just feels off, doesn't it?
It's like a classic move in crime fiction, that staged suicide.
Right.
Francis uses it masterfully to plant those seeds of doubt right from the start.
Oh, yeah.
Is it a genuine suicide? A desperate act by a woman trapped in a loveless marriage? Or is there something more sinister at play? A carefully constructed facade to hide a murder? That's the question that drives the entire investigation.
Ooh, good question. What are your first impressions? What's your gut telling you?
I'm suspicious of everyone, I have to admit.
I know, right? But I keep coming back to Malcolm's wealth. It's almost like another character in the story, like it's looming over everything.
Yeah.
Could that be the motive behind Moira's death?
Oh, absolutely. Money, or rather the relentless pursuit of it, it's a corrupting force in so many of Francis's novels. It warps relationships, breeds resentment, and drives people to do unthinkable things. In Hot Money, Malcolm's fortune, it's both a blessing and a curse. Luxury, yes, but it also attracts those who would exploit him.
So let's break down the suspects a bit, shall we? We have Malcolm's children, each with their own complicated relationship with him, and their own potential reasons maybe to want him out of the picture.
Yeah.
There's Donald, struggling financially. He might see this as his chance for a big payday.
Donald's financial troubles are definitely a red flag. Desperation can push people to extremes, especially when a lot of money is involved.
And there's Gervais, with that infamous temper of his. Could his resentment towards his father and Moira have boiled over into something dangerous?
Oh, Gervais, he's a ticking time bomb. His volatile nature, that history of impulsive behavior, makes him a very strong suspect. That simmering tension between him and Malcolm, it could easily ignite.
And we can't forget about their sister Serena. She's like an enigma, isn't she? There's a hidden depth to her that I can't quite grasp.
Oh, Serena's definitely the wild card in this family. Withdrawn, observant, harboring this deep resentment towards the men in her life. Could there be more to her than meets the eye?
Oh, for sure. Now things take a seriously dark turn when we find out about the attempt on Malcolm's life. It wasn't just Moira who was targeted. Someone rigged his car with a bomb.
Wow.
Yeah.
This raises the stakes significantly. It's not just about greed or jealousy anymore. It's about survival.
Yeah.
And the fact they chose such a violent, calculated method,
Right.
it speaks volumes about how ruthless they are.
And there's this one detail that really stuck with me. Ian's memories of those childhood experiments with electronics and, believe it or not, explosions.
Oh, wow.
Him and his brothers actually built time switches as kids.
Oh.
One almost led to a deadly accident. It's like a twisted echo of that car bomb incident, right?
Oh, the parallels between the past and present are so significant.
Yeah.
They suggest that maybe, just maybe, the person responsible is someone intimately familiar with the family's history, someone who knows their vulnerabilities and is using them. Francis is a master at foreshadowing.
He is.
And this is a prime example. Seemingly harmless events from the past, hinting at the darkness to come. It's all about those details with him.
It really is. So we've got a family full of secrets, a fortune up for grabs, and a string of violent attacks. The question is, are you picking up on those clues like Ian is? because the real detective work is just getting started.
Remember, Francis doesn't spell things out for you. He wants you to be an active participant, to piece together the puzzle alongside Ian. Pay attention to those little details, those fleeting expressions, a carelessly spoken word, even a seemingly random object. They often hold the key to unlocking the truth.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're back, and we're still wading through a sea of questions. Last time we left off with everyone in the family looking pretty suspicious.
Yeah, for sure.
But Ian is starting to notice some things about the attacks. It's clear this person is methodical and knows a lot about how Malcolm operates.
Absolutely. Both the car bomb and the explosion at Quantum House, those were planned strategically.
Yes.
It's almost like they were meant to make Ian look guilty.
Like he was being framed.
Exactly. He's the one who stands to gain the most from Malcolm's will, especially after those changes.
It's definitely possible. But Ian's not a trained detective, right?
Right.
He's relying on his gut and what he knows about his family to put it all together, going over conversations, looking for any inconsistencies, any signs of resentment, anything that could point him in the right direction.
It's amazing how Francis drops these little details that seem insignificant at first, but then...
They become crucial.
Yes, like that scene where Ian visits his brother Donald and his wife Helen. They're acting so suspicious, pawning off jewelry, making secret phone calls. That makes you wonder, could their money troubles be pushing them to do something drastic?
Financial strain. It's a recurring theme in Hot Money.
Sure.
Francis often explores how desperation can grip people when they're facing hardship, especially financial. With Donald and Helen, those actions, they raise some serious red flags.
They do.
Are they victims of circumstance, or are they playing a more dangerous game?
Good question.
Yeah.
And speaking of money problems, let's not forget about Gervais. Remember how Ian casually mentioned taking Gervais's wife, Ursula, out to lunch? Apparently that little outing caused a huge rift between them.
Oh, really?
Yeah? Gervais, he's so possessive. Sees Ian as a threat. Even warned him to stay away from Malcolm's money.
It's classic sibling rivalry, but magnified by all that wealth, you know? Francis captures that jealousy and competition that can simmer beneath the surface of family.
Right.
It's clear Gervais's resentment runs deep enough to make him act rashly, perhaps.
You know, it's not just the brothers who are raising eyebrows.
Yeah.
Their sister, Serena, she has her own set of issues.
Yeah.
She's withdrawn, avoids men, and it's almost like she's drawn to chaos.
She almost seems to enjoy watching it all unfold.
Right. Could her quirks be masking something darker?
Serena is a fascinating study of repressed emotions and how trauma can have a long-lasting impact. Her aversion to men, that morbid fascination with the family's problems.
Yeah.
It suggests a troubled past, maybe even abuse or some deep betrayal.
Right. And remember that notebook Ian found with Serena's strange writings? One phrase kept popping up. Ian is at Quantum with Daddy. I can't bear it. And there was a drawing, a chilling one, of an explosion with Ian's name right in the middle.
Oh, wow.
What if those ramblings were actually a glimpse into her state of mind?
That notebook and that drawing are crucial pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
They reveal how deep Serena's animosity towards Ian runs. Her words and those images hint at rage, a desire to see Ian punished for being the favorite.
And this is where that Mickey Mouse clock from their childhood comes back into play. Remember how Ian and his brothers built time switches? Well, one of those clocks was found at the scene of the Quantum House explosion.
Oh, no.
It suggests the culprit is someone familiar with those childhood experiments.
Right.
Could Serena's interest in the clock be hiding something sinister?
The Mickey Mouse clock is a turning point, a link between the past and present.
Yes.
It suggests the culprit understands time and how to manipulate it for their own gains. Could that harmless toy be the key?
And the police even talked to their old gardener, Fred, about those explosives he used to blow up that tree stump.
Oh, right.
Malcolm took away the detonators after that to prevent accidents. But the bomb at Quantum House definitely used a detonator. So if it wasn't Fred, who else could have gotten their hands on them?
It's a haunting question, isn't it? Those detonators, they're a tangible connection to the past.
A reminder of the potential for violence within the family. Whoever planted that bomb, they had access to those detonators.
Yeah.
It shows a deep understanding of the family and a willingness to exploit it.
Here's a thought that really threw me for a loop. Remember Norman West, that private investigator Malcolm hired?
Yeah.
He mentioned he was looking for Malcolm on behalf of Mrs. Pembroke. He assumed it was Alicia, Malcolm's second wife, but what if it wasn't?
That's a great point. There is another Mrs. Pembroke, Lucy,
Yeah.
the one who convinced her husband to take her last name.
Right. But Lucy hates wealth and everything it represents.
So why would you be looking for Malcolm?
Exactly. It doesn't make sense. Unless Lucy isn't who she seems. Maybe she has a hidden motive, something that connects her to Malcolm beyond her simple life.
That opens up a whole new line of inquiry.
Right.
It makes Ian question everything he thought he knew about his family.
Totally. The lines between truth and lies, they get really blurry as the mystery gets deeper.
Yeah. Just as Ian thinks he's making headway, he gets a frantic call from Ferdinand, his brother, about another attack.
Oh, no.
It seems like the danger around Malcolm is getting worse, and time is running out.
The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife.
I know.
Will Ian solve the puzzle before it's too late? Will he finally uncover the truth about the attacks and unmask the culprit?
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into hot money, and things are pretty intense.
Yeah.
That call from Ferdinand, it was a real gut punch. He told Ian that Serena had vanished.
Oh, no.
Yeah, her car was found abandoned near Malcolm's hotel in London.
Knowing Serena and her state of mind, it's hard not to worry.
Right.
All those clues, the writings, the drawings, that Mickey Mouse clock,
Yeah,
it all starts to make a chilling kind of sense.
like we were looking at the puzzle the wrong way the whole time.
Exactly.
And those doodles Serena made in her notebook, the ones that seemed like gibberish.
Yeah.
Ian figured them out. They weren't just random scribbles. They were diagrams of electrical circuits.
Wow, Frances is so clever with those little details.
I know.
They foreshadow what Serena is capable of. And when you combine that with her knowledge of those childhood time switch experiments,
Oh, yeah.
it becomes terrifyingly clear that she has both the motive and the means to carry out those attacks.
Ian rushes to London, fearing the worst. He finds Malcolm safe at the hotel, but that relief doesn't last long.
Yeah.
Serena shows up, and the truth comes spilling out.
Oh, wow.
She admits to everything. Moira's staged suicide, the car bomb, the explosion at Quantum House. She was behind it all.
Serena's confession, it's shocking but also heartbreaking. Frances shows us the complexities of mental illness, you know. And with Serena, we see a character consumed by grief, resentment, and this desperate need for control.
It's chilling to think how calculated her actions have been all along. She even confessed to trying to run Malk over with her car.
That's right, an incident he brushed off as an accident at the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This just shows how much planning went into her scheme. There's no doubt about her guilt, and it makes you realize how dangerous she really was to Malcolm. But the question is, why? What pushed her to these extremes?
Good question.
As Serena breaks down, we see the depths of her pain and the twisted logic behind everything. She talks about always feeling like an outsider, overshadowed by your brothers and ignored by her father.
That feeling of resentment within a family, it's a core theme in Hot Money. Frances does an incredible job of peeling back the layers of this seemingly perfect family.
Right.
He reveals the jealousy, the competition, the hidden scars that lie beneath the surface. In Serena's case, the pain of feeling unloved and overlooked, it just festered.
And then there's the loss of her twin brother, Robin, years ago in that car accident. She blames Malcolm for his death, believing he could have prevented it.
Losing a twin, it's a unique kind of loss. Frances handles this part of Serena's story with sensitivity, you know. It's clear that Robin's death, it was a turning point for her, a wound that never healed. It ultimately drove her to seek revenge against the father she holds responsible.
In her mind, these attacks on Malcolm were a way to avenge Robin, as if punishing him would somehow make things right.
Her actions are horrific, but you can see they're rooted in a distorted sense of love and loyalty.
Yeah.
Her grief, it warped her perception of reality and led her down a destructive path.
The confrontation ends tragically. Serena, overtaken by rage, attacks Malcolm, and in the struggle she falls, hits her head, and dies instantly.
It's a tragic end to her pain and struggle.
It really is.
It reminds us of the devastating consequences of mental illness and how important it is to seek help when emotions become overwhelming.
Malcolm is left utterly devastated. He's grappling with the guilt of not seeing his daughter suffering, the realization that he's lost a child and a chance to make things right.
The story ends on a somber note, doesn't it? It leaves you with a feeling of unease. Could this tragedy have been prevented? Frances doesn't give us any easy answers. Instead, he makes us confront the complexities of families and the ripple effects of trauma.
Hot Money is a thriller, no doubt.
Yeah.
But it's also a deeply disturbing look at the darker side of human nature.
Absolutely.
It's a story that stays with you, prompting you to think about how fragile family bonds can be and what can happen when emotions run unchecked.
What stayed with you? The plot twists, the characters, those unsettling truths about people that Frances reveals. We hope you keep thinking about it. Delve deeper into the themes that resonated most with you.
This was a good one.
It really was.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
We'll see you next time.